scientists to give you your facts and tell you what reality is all about? Or
no, not reality. Facts of what can and cannot exist. Okay. And if somebody is claiming otherwise, you know, to me, that's an extraordinary claim that must be backed up with a lot of evidence. And if they can't support it, then I dismiss it.
Right. So it's about evidence then. I mean, do you think that what we have learned, like when you talk about science, do you think it's a body of knowledge that's already been discovered and will not really change ever, or is it more like an ongoing method where we could discover tomorrow that the Big Bang cosmology, for example, is completely wrong, and there's this new thing going on we didn't even see before?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing about science is that it is falsifiable. It does. Well, it does change as more information comes to light, and you find out that something that they thought was correct all along wasn't correct, and they change it to fit a new model, and that's okay. That's fine. You'll find that a lot of these more supernatural claims tend not to change unless, you know, it fits somebody's already twisted reality or twisted idea of reality.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more reliable for me.
You say appeals to emotion and abstract questions don't impress you, Peach. Would you consider yourself a matter-of-fact, practical type of girl? Is that a safe kind of?
Yeah, and that's why I don't have a lot of patience for philosophy, even though I think a lot of people are kind of insulted by that because you know, they think, oh, you're not opening yourself, you're not open-minded enough to accept that there might be something else. Yeah, I'm open-minded, but if you're gonna just speculate about something that you claim is unknowable and yet somehow you know so damn much about it, I don't have a lot of patience for that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the only reason I find philosophy important is because it provides context for what we call scientific facts, because science is sort of a derivative of philosophy, of natural philosophy, and so sometimes if we only look at science, and you know, a lot of atheists I've noticed will say we don't need philosophy anymore because now we have science, but I think that's a little short-sighted, because to interpret what science actually sees and measures, you need a philosophical context, and a lot of people sort of don't want to go there. And want to have their cake and eat it too by saying, you know, that science is all we really need. So I mean, do you think that there's a sort of philosophical background that needs to be established before science can even get off the ground?
As far as I think there's got to be some kind of ethical foundation that has to be built about what lines you do not cross as far as obtaining knowledge if it harms other people. Philosophically, on the other hand, to me, it's just always been about answering the why, and science doesn't care about the why. It's all about you know, what it is and how it works. But the whole why issue, it's so subjective. How could everybody, you know, come to a consensus about why something is, or why we're here, or why this, why that? You know, that's why it doesn't interest me as much.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's why, you know, 3,000 or 2,500 years after philosophy started, we're still arguing about the same basic issues. But I mean, you're right that ethics is a big reason why we still need to think critically in a non-scientific way, because science can't tell us much about what we ought to do and how things should be. But I also think there's a whole theory of perception, and you know, a whole theory of how we take in sensory information. Even to describe it as taking in sensory information is already making all these metaphysical assumptions. So before we even begin doing science, we've made these non-testable philosophical or metaphysical assumptions in order for science to be able to provide us with what we call knowledge. So, you know, we need to do epistemology, for example, and ontology and these metaphysical things for scientific knowledge to count as anything, I would say. So it's, you know, we can't just take scientific discoveries at face value all the time, because there's a background, an unspoken background that has to be articulated before we really know what's even being said by the scientists, I would say. Is that
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
See, she just pragmatically owned you with that. Okay.
Listen.
Go do your thing.
No, that wasn't what it is. I mean, you basically just gave your assessment of it, and that's fine. Sorry, somebody else is trying to contact me.
Focus speech.
But
look at the cat. Focus on the cat all of a sudden. Sorry,
I lost my train of thought. Never mind.
Let's I'll bring it back to what you know. I'm not sure if you knew this. Alaska, Florida, Oklahoma, Wyoming, and California have incorporated electronically communicated statements as conduct constituting stalking in their anti-stalking laws. How familiar are you with Oklahoma's anti-stalking laws? Are you? I mean, I would assume that you're interested in learning a lot more about it these days. But I mean, to see Oklahoma on the list there with California, I mean, that's pretty good. There's only like four or five here on the list that have incorporated these electronic messages in their cyber stalking laws.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, a lot of help that does me now, because I'm leaving in about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Anybody watching this that's from Oklahoma, they can.
I wonder how that works,
Yeah.
though. I mean, if you live in Oklahoma and the stalker is in another state that doesn't have these laws, can Oklahoma just go get them and charge them in their state? Probably not, right?
I don't know. I don't know if the crime pertains to the state in which the person who is committing the crime, or if it's pertaining to the victim or the person who's being targeted where they live. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, looking at the time frame, we wanted to get your friend here, Facts versus Religion, on the program. She agreed to come on, and I think we had just a really good oscillating conversation with you, Peach. I think we just scratched the surface though too. We would maybe like to have you back another time, just if you're interested in talk more, because this is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we can get more into the meaty issues like atheism and theism.
Yeah, I would like to. I think we just barely touched on that
evolution and creationism, and we could get into that kind of thing. And
but I think she represents a view that a lot of people would resonate with. Yeah. It's not too abstract. It's not too.
Yeah. It's bring it down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little more grounded.
I could use a little more earthy gravity and get me down the ground. So yeah, you can help us out if we have you on again, Peach.
I would love to.
So thank you for coming on. Hopefully everything goes well over there and here, and with your move, everything goes good with you and Mr. Dick. So thumbs up.
Yeah, stay safe.
Good. Thanks for coming on the show, Peach.
Later.
Thank you.